Hello, everybody, and welcome back to We Know Traitors over here on RHAP. I'm your host, the Duke of Deception, Pooya and Annabel, ready to break things down. And today we have a very fun podcast for you, coming at you with the video, providing you with the audio, and we're going to give you a guide to everything you need to know about the Traitors in case you are new, or if you're not new but you want some more insight. And with me, couldn't think of a better person to do this with here. To me, the most trusted mind in the Traitor sphere, the one and only Annabel in the building. Annabel, how you doing?
Well, I'm certainly the loudest mind. There's nothing that goes on in here that doesn't accidentally come out the other end, Pooya.
You say accidentally, I say on purpose.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, Annabel, we're going to have fun here because I feel like now with the big news, Rob Cesternino is going to be on the Traitors, the Podfather himself. I think a lot of people in our realm are going to be interested to check out the Traitors who may not have, but also every year a new person gets cast on this show and that gets people to check it out. So I wanted to get something that is a guide for obviously 2025 where we are, but can be relatively evergreen for anyone that's looking to get their foot in the door on the Traitors side of things.
Absolutely. I mean, this is an experience, and you don't want to go into a trippy experience like this without a guide. So we're really here to coach you through.
Yeah, let us be the guides there. One of us who has been on the show, and one of us who talks about the show. I feel like that's a good mix. That's a good healthy mix, maybe, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, my show doesn't exist anymore, so we're on the same page.
But we were all there when it was happening, and we all felt the feelings. And soon to be a lot of viewers here will be feeling those feelings as well. Positive, negative, I don't know.
Can't wait.
Well, that's what we should set up here. So we're doing the spoiler free. You are not going to know the results of any of these seasons that we talk about. So if you are terrified of that, worry not, because we want you to have that experience positive and good. So that's the main thing I would say. Other than that, this guide is really subjective, opinionated. Some of you may be like, I disagree with da-da-da-da. That's cool. That's cool. This is two people's opinion that we are presenting to you to check out if you are interested. If you're not, that's cool. But if you want to debate it, that's also cool. Put it in the comments. I'll read them all.
Yeah, absolutely. I am a compulsive spoiler sharer, but I'm reining it all in for you today. We even in our categories, just because we say, for example, there's good traitors, doesn't mean that the traitors win. Because you know what? Unlike a lot of the other competition reality series, this isn't really something you can game. It's a vibes show. There's a lot of luck involved, and you can be an absolute phenomenal contestant. No guarantees that's going to result in anything other than an early boot.
Exactly. Like we've had seasons where we have the strongest traitors out there. They don't make it to episode 12. We've had the same thing happen with Faithful. We've had smart here, dumb win, smart lose. Like we've had so many different combinations. I think even as of this year, talking about endings of the show, we have had infinite number of outcomes that have been brand new. This show isn't a show that you get a lot of like, okay, well, the exact same thing happened 3 seasons in a row. You don't really get that here.
No, it's fantastic. It doesn't matter how many times it run. And there's so many international versions of this, non-English language versions of this. I've never seen the same ending twice.
Exactly, which is why it is my favorite show now. So here we go. Okay, so right before we got on here, Annabel and I were talking, as we do, and Annabel let me in on what she has as far as like tier/categories, and I really, really liked it. So Annabel, if you're fine with it, I would like for us to use your rubric to move forward.
Oh, please, I would love it. And my little poodle here, Puffy Fluffykins, he's all down for it as well. And so let's go with Puffy's favorite genre, which is if you're just here for the drama. It's less about the gameplay and the strategy for you. What you want to see is screaming, crying, tears, fights, chaos. And the Traitors brings a lot of that.
That is one of my favorite genres also. So we're on the same page here. And I feel like the Traitors does deliver that quite a bit. Maybe sometimes more than other genres, which is why some people don't love it as much. But it does provide a lot of it. So now, before we get into anything further than that, just to give you a heads up on which seasons are in contention here, a little bit of a time capsule in case you're joining us from the future. We're looking at the 3 seasons of Traitors UK. We're looking at the 3 seasons of Traitors US. We're looking at the 2 seasons of Australian Traitors, 2 seasons of New Zealand Traitors, and 2 seasons of Traitors Canada.
And I'm going to give some special mentions to some non-English language versions as well.
Amazing. That's for the real ones out there, the really like diehards that are looking for a little bit more, a little extra.
Yeah. Because let me tell you, I've only dipped my toe in so far, and it's been a wild time.
Okay. What was the name of this category that you just presented?
If you're here for the drama.
If you're here for the drama. Okay. So what is your first entrant into the here for the drama?
So my first entry here, this is actually going to appear in another category as well, but UK won. So UK's OG, there are some moments there which all these years later are burned into our brains.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly the most iconic breakfast we ever get. I think UK one's got to top the charts for those who love drama.
UK one was the entryway to this world for so many of us. It really was. I saw a lot of endorsements for a couple of episodes that really made me be like, okay, let me just check it out now. And I was hooked. This is the season I always recommend people. This has been my number 1 season on my personal rankings for a long time, which I think now is second, but it's still top 3 regardless. So I'm 100% with you here. I'm always going to be an advocate for check this season out because like Annabel said, this season has cross-category appeal, meaning while we are saying it's got chaos, it's got other stuff to offer as well. And I feel like it embodies what this show is out the gate.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 categories I have it appearing in. I think it's probably the most pivotal season of the franchise.
Yes.
Probably the least watched, I think, of the 3 UK franchises. Those who went on to appear in UK 2 and UK 3 have become celebrities in their own right in England. England is kind of the heartland of the show where it is the most popular. It's won multiple BAFTAs. But I still think UK 1 stands up as the foundation on which the rest of the show is built on.
UK 1 had to walk for the 2 and 3 to soar. It really did. And it is like the cast is heavily underrated, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of those people, if you put them on a season 2, season 3, they've got that infamy that some of the 2 and 3ers have. So I think that this is a great start. This was kind of the perfect season for us to immediately put out there, Annabelle. So I love it.
Love that, Pooya. Now, what else do you have under this category?
Okay, so in the category of chaos, or what was it called? Here for the drama. I personally feel like this one also has cross-genre appeal. But if you're looking for drama and you're looking for a lot of loud, a lot of maybe some arguments, maybe some disagreements, some clashes of big personality, I want to take you to the Great White North that is Canada, and I want to give you season 2 of Canada.
Okay, yes. This did not immediately leap out to me as one of the here for the drama lists, but now you say it, there were some very loud people on that season. There were some explosive arguments. I think round table lectures. This is actually the season that sparked my round table reenactments segment over on Babes on the Brink. And you know what? I'm with you. I'm all on board. I really, really, really enjoyed this season. I'm a Traitors Canada apologist. I think some people were less high on Canada season 1. They found it a little bit dull. But I've always found Canada really fun. The Canadians are cracked. They never do what you think they're going to do. There's no way you can predict what's going to happen in next episode. I don't know what they're eating, drinking up there in Canada, but they're made different, and I'm obsessed with them.
The vibes are on point with Canada. Canada's also the only franchise that I can think of off the top of the dome right now that still, up until this point, has done half and half season where you've got half are like reality TV alum, the other half are just regular people, regular jobs pulling up. But you don't get that feeling like you may have with some other shows that do a fans versus favorites is what we would call it, where it's like, oh, the favorites are sticking together, the fans are sticking together, aside from a few. it really just meshes and gels. It's like everyone is equal. And I think that works.
Yes, they somehow mix their polite Canadianness with the total crackedness that then manifests in explosive fights as well.
Yes.
And this is where I want to give my first special mention. If you are willing to dip your toe into subtitles to watch The Traitors in languages other than English, I have to strongly recommend season 1, season 2 of The Traitors Quebec, because if
Yes.
you think English language speaking Canadians are on something, let me take you over to Montreal, honey, because oh my gosh, the most dramatic 2 seasons for sure.
I will. So I admittedly have made a promise to Annabelle that I will watch season 2 of Quebec to hop on her podcast. I believe the season is concluded and I've still not started. So that's on me. I have to pay the penalty. We'll figure that out offline. But I remember where I was last year when we agreed to, Annabelle and I were like, for the off season, let's talk about Traitors Quebec. We're getting a lot of people saying, vouching for it. Let's give it a shot. And I remember how gagged I was watching the first 2 episodes even, and realizing, oh, this is about to be a ride. And it was nothing like I had seen before so far on the franchise. It was so incredible. So I know that subtitles are something that can be divisive. Some people don't mess with it at all. Some people are very okay with it. I'm someone who's very okay with it, so it's easy for me to do. Granted, it probably has to get promoted from second monitor content to first monitor priority because you got to read to know what's going on. But hey, besides that, everything else is everything you're looking for in Traitors. And the drama's there. I think the drama was there with season 1, that I can vouch for. And you're saying season 2, if you're here for the drama, stay for the drama.
Oh my gosh, Pooya. Quebec, there's a screaming, crying, there's a little bit of throwing up as well. You won't be disappointed. It's worth the read.
Amazing. Okay, so we talked about that. We got 2 Quebec seasons in the special mentions. We got Canada 2, which you said you're fine with being in there as well.
Yeah.
Okay. What's another one that's been on your list for
So
the drama?
It's no secret that the US version is not my favorite.
Right.
That's because I do like a little bit of strategy. That said, I am a vibes girly. I love drama. I am the drama. And what I do appreciate is that for at least the first half of the seasons, the US does bring the drama. So I want to nominate US season 2.
Yes. Okay. I was figuring out which number you were going to land there. I think 2 100% has a very fiery and dramatic beginning. A lot of personalities that are just not gelling with each other, culminating in some big arguments, big round tables, cussing each other out. Good times. And listen, the thing with the US too, the US specifically, is that US 1 is kind of its own thing. They did a half and half. It didn't quite work out the way they wanted to, so they scrapped that. And from 2 on, it's been star-studded cast, people from our social strategy reality shows, the CBS shows. You're getting housewives are getting involved in the mix now. A couple of Netflix folks are getting in there, and it culminates in a big cast of big personalities that they know how to run television. They know how to make that happen, but also they don't like each other. So they have to navigate each other. Some of them still don't understand the grasping of playing a game and it being just a game. Some of them do not recognize that this is a TV show and people are going to be saying and doing things that are not going to make sense. You just have to roll with the punches. So that has made it very chaotic. It's made it very fun. And to your point, Annabelle, I do think the first half of US 2 delivers in that front quite strongly.
Yeah, the Traitors US for me is Traitors for people who don't actually like the Traitors. So if you want to see your favorite reality stars attack each other, if you're like, I need to see someone from Housewives absolutely eviscerate your faves from Big Brother and The Bachelor, like the US is where you need to go. And my main criticisms are they tend to drag in the second half of the season. But at least the first half of 2 and 3, I absolutely love them.
Yeah, I think that a lot of it can come down to, like we mentioned, the dynamics of the pre-existing relationships can definitely play a part. And for the most part, yes, if you're a big fan of crossover episodes, if you were younger and you were like, I like to fantasize about people in this genre meeting up with people in this genre and how they would gel, that's the Traitors US for you. That's what they're doing. And I think the casts have become better and better with passing seasons. I think they're figuring out the formula more now, which is good. I feel like the celebrities they're putting on now are understanding what they've signed up for more than they used to. So I think it's only going to age better from where I'm standing, Annabelle. But I do think 2 for the drama, sign it. That's good.
Absolutely. Obviously, US 4 is going to be the best season of The Traitors ever.
Unbiased opinions here from the two of us.
Opinions.
Mm-hmm.
But US is, as you say, the Christmas special.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, for if what Annabelle just described, some of the people you've already seen on TV being the appealing, like, barrier to entry, the lack of barrier to entry, do it. Use US as a vehicle to get involved. And then if you like what you see, if there's even a semblance of formatting you like, then check out the other ones. Because then the other ones, it's people you don't know, but the show is the same show. It's the same skeleton, same format. So it could be some fun for you there.
Mm-hmm. Love it. All right. Did you have any others that fit in this category?
I have one that I can think of that I would put in here. This one is near and dear to my heart. And I think it's near and dear to your heart. Mainly because you may have been in it. Listen, if you want fiery, you want drama, you want some of the crying, screaming, and the throwing up, I do think if you take a gander over on Australia season 2, you go and find some of that, okay? And I feel like the crying, screaming, throwing up can happen on both sides of the screen with a lot of the seasons we've expressed, and I think this is one of them. Yeah,
I did just want to clarify here, most of the crying will be you watching.
It was me. I did it. Yeah. I did it. I was mad. I was happy. I was sad. I felt everything. Everything happened.
I did not have this season here, but actually that it is a good fit. I agree. It is the most talked about season. It is the most polarizing season. If you go over to the Traitors Reddit, someone is bringing it up every 3 days. It aired 2.5 years ago, and it's still making people all over the world mad. I have this firmly under category for the law, which we'll talk about later. But if there is drama, and you will be causing drama online yourself once you've watched it.
Yeah, history books this season will be there. I mean, and this is probably a sore subject for Annabelle here, because Australian Traitors is the one of the 2 franchises of the ones we've mentioned that is no longer putting new seasons out. So we did really end with this season, but when I tell you fireworks throughout, I'm not underselling that. So I don't think you could have put it in the drama because, again, you were involved. I'm putting it in the drama. I think it belongs there. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Right. I just have one more season that sits here, and that's USA 3. So, again, if you want a season, you said before on the US, these contestants do not like each other. These are all big ego, narcissist reality stars. Mm-hmm. They're all the main character in their own mind. They're all fighting over screen time. And that really comes out in season 3, where even when people are supposed to be on the same team, they are at each other's throats.
Yeah, at each other's throats, throwing digs, throwing barbs. I will say, I'm assuming, and this could be an assumption, not a good one, but I'm assuming a lot of those of you that have tuned in may be specifically from this reality TV realm that we're in, the social strategy side of things. This is probably the strongest cast for that they've put together from those shows. So you're going to be interested in watching that and watching that play out. And listen, the drama is there. So I just want to say that before the Traitors, I would have never imagined a world where I needed this, but seeing housewives and survivors look at each other sideways, throw hands, exchange words, I'm living for it. We need more of this, and Traitors is providing. So I 100% agree. I think US 3 belongs here as well. And because when you said I have one more, I thought that's the only one I can think of. I don't think any of the other ones will fit there. So
no, this is the last of the drama. I mean, people, there is literal convulsing on the floor Alan, the host, did an interview being like, I was watching the drama and I could not believe my eyes. I could not keep a straight face. So
Exactly.
you're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah. And I think this season 3 was the latest US one. I saw the most social media engagement that I have on like TikTok and short form content made on the Traitors. So it's starting to pick up a lot of steam, and for good reason with this season.
Beautiful. All right. Well, that wraps up if you're here for the drama.
Yes.
What about if you love a good traitor? If you're always rooting for the traitors and you just want to see some sneaky smiling serpent do their serpenting, these are the seasons for you. This is not to say that the traitors win these, okay? They don't necessarily. But there is somebody out there, they are hissing, they are biting, they are sneaking under the radar, and we're all here for it.
They are unapologetically doing what needs to be done to further themselves in the game, while very convincingly maybe hiding under the radar, maybe throwing other people in front of the line of fire, maybe even having a lot of suspicion on them and then being able to hide or run past it. Just traits that if you have to sit there and think, how in the world did that happen? They're probably going to be in this category.
Absolutely. So who's your number 1 seed for this?
Oh my God, that's pressure. Okay. Okay. Number 1 seed. I feel like I have 2 places I'm looking at going, Annabelle. Actually, low-key could be 3, but I'm looking at 2 right now. And I'm going to go with my personal number 1 seed. Okay. I want to take us back to my favorite franchise of the countries. Again, love them all equally, but my favorite, the UK. I want to go to the UK with this one, and I want to say we're looking at UK 2. Lock it in for this one.
Bang on. This was my number 1 seed as well, Pooya. We are so in sync. This was the first season you and I podcast together.
Yeah, that's true.
That's where I became the pharaoh of flap flaps. And look, this is not
we talked about who our Redditor is on the cast every season. Now that's a staple.
I played Blood on the Clock Tower with him the other day, and I can say he's just as awful in real life.
I want to watch those games. I want to watch that game. Put me a fly on the wall in that game. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, I root for the faithful. It goes without saying. I am faithful, ride or die. But this was impressive. They big characters here have gone on to be major celebrities afterwards. I think the UK 2 is potentially one of my favorite seasons overall. I thought it was satisfying from start to end. And even though I don't necessarily, would I want to go to dinner with some of these traitors? No, I will be fine, thanks. Did they still make for fantastic television? Yes.
Amazing television. And I feel like this season had a lot of good things to offer. It's my number 1. Remember how I said UK 1 was my number 1? This beat that and took over the number 1 spot, but there's still 1 and 2. And there's a lot of reasons why that is. One of them was, again, watching, because also with the UK, you're going in, you're not anticipating, because I think there's always this subconsciously, you have this weighted thought process and assessment of people who are playing a show that have been on Survivor, that have been on Big Brother. Like, oh, they understand these mechanics. They know what's up. But when you're meeting a new, fresh cast, you have no idea who any of these people are, especially if they don't come in and in the first 2-3 confessions, they're like, I studied this game. It's my life. I love board games. You're not really seeing that. You don't know what to expect from them. So then when you see them deliver, you're like, oh, you are a legend in the making. I just had no idea. And I think that's a very fun thing to look out for when you watch the Traitors, just any season, period. And I feel like this season delivered quite a few options on both teams for me.
Yeah, well, this is the great thing. The Traitors were great, but the faithful were amazing as well. I would categorize this as strong traitors rather than solid faithful, but you're going to absolutely fall in love with the faithful too, and there's going to be times where you really don't know who you're going for.
Yes, no, 100%. I think we're on the same page. Lock it in. UK 2 is number 1. which then brings me to ask you, who's your number 2?
My number 2 is UK1.
Fair. That's
I've
fair.
got to stick with the UK. I think this brings us probably the most recognizable traitor across the franchise. I mean, that's if you're kind of part of the Traitors fan community. We get our most famous traitor out of this. So much lore around the Traitors as well. Just an amazing couple of characters here, and really interesting interpersonal dynamics between traitors.
Yeah, I feel like it's very fun when you have a very dramatic season and then watching traders try and navigate the very much the drama that's going on around the castle and how to be able to do it. Because what I find happens is when you have very dramatic people in the house, it's a lot more unpredictable. And the castle is going to be unpredictable. And I think navigating that just gets even more impressive if you are able to, again, either hide what you're doing or throw suspicion subtly at other people, and stuff like that is just very fun to see. And I feel like season 1 does deliver that for me as well. I think that's an easy cosign. I don't think I'm going to debate that at all.
No.
And I think we mentioned UK1 has a lot of cross category appeal. I think this is very fair.
This was the season I really studied before going out to play as well. You know, I knew I am the drama. I am never going to be able to be under the radar. These are the characters. How did they do so well while being so extra? This is what I wanted to focus on here. So we love you, UK1. All right. What about you, Pooya?
All right. I'll bring you back to the US. I know that, may not be your favorite of the franchises, but I do think that if you were ever, like wherever in the world you may be, whatever country you may be, you're looking to sign up for the show and you're like, I'm looking to sign up for the show. I'm looking to play a very effective game of sorts. I'm telling you to go watch US 1. I think it's the foundational season of the US. It's the first one. Like I mentioned, the cast is like half people who know what they're doing, half people who have no idea what's going on. And I think that allows you to be able to study the game a lot easier because it feels like it's one of the least complex seasons that plays out for me. Like some of these other seasons, like, wow, so this person gets here because they had to avoid that, and somehow they avoided this, somehow they escaped that, somehow they beat that person in their own game. Like there's so many minds to walk through, whereas the US 1 feels like you can just walk through and there's a lot less issues, so it's a lot easier to study for me. That's why I would vouch for US 1. Are you muted?
Did have a really
your
great
audio's back.
You're not wrong. I'm going to say, give this season a miss. Unless you're intending to go out there and play as a traitor yourself. Unless you're particularly obsessed with some of these legends, don't bother. This season, a snooze fest. Kind of sucks.
I'm
going
to piggyback off of that because I do think that if you're looking to watch, like, let's say 5 seasons, this should not be part of your 5 seasons whatsoever. This is definitely lower. If we were to do a list, which I guess we could do at the very end if we have time, of like prio from like 1 to 12, this is in the bottom 4 for me easily.
Yeah, no, this is finish this off if you're a completionist is where I would put that on. That said, another season that I think is a good season, we've already mentioned it so far, but I think it deserves a spot here too, and that's Canada season 2.
100%. I think that's number 3 or 4 on my top 5 list at the moment. I love this season. Yeah.
Yeah, that season was amazing.
Yeah, I feel like it's a season where, we already mentioned that there are loud people, there are big personalities, there's drama, but in the midst of that, you get to watch a very fun Traitors turret with some very big characters, and watching the, that gif of it's the Office gif, 3 people, it's like the Mexican stand-up, they're like holding the guns at each other. It's that almost what feels like from minute 1 all the way to the bitter end. Like it's so much fun to watch. And I highly recommend it. I think a lot of fun characters come out of Canada season 2. And I would say Canada season 2, if season 1 for some people was a miss, season 2 made sure that Canada gets a season 3, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though I would say it wasn't the most compelling Traitors game, like I think the faithful were the ones bringing the drama and the intrigue here, it was a masterclass in being a traitor as well. So if you wanted to, like, I think certain Traitors played very similarly to the US one Traitors, but I would recommend Canada 2 over US 1 just because it's a more interesting season overall.
Yeah, your popcorn will be complimented far more with the season 2 of Canada. I agree with that as well. All right, so what did we last talk about?
Canada 2
I think.
before.
Oh, yes. So I threw another one in. So by the way, if y'all don't know, we had a little bit of tech issues. We're good now. I said Australia 1 was a
Yes.
potential next avenue.
That was my last one on this list as well. Now,
Perfect.
people love this season, Pooya. They adore it. It always makes top of the list for Redditor rankings. Little confession to make though. I found the first half of it a bit snoozy. It really picks up towards the end and it's got a brilliant ending. It deserves its spot on this list and it'll make its place on a lot of people's top 5. It's just personally not on mine because there wasn't enough drama.
That's very fair. I think that this one, to me, is one of the ones that the strategy heads really adore. They really mess with it for that reason, which is why I think it gets the big vouch. You're not wrong. The drama is probably a little lower on the rung than a lot of other seasons, but it does provide good strat. There's some great cast choices here. Some not great ones, but it's all good. It happens. But the ones that are good, they're really good. So I would give it a check, give it a watch. But again, like a lot of people rank this highly. See for yourself. See if you feel like that for yourself. So
yeah, and it's also the first English language version to air. So we love that for them.
there we go. First of the punch. Yeah.
So let's move over to the other key category here, the compliment to if you like great traitors, if you like strong faithfuls, if you like faithfuls who are out there to hustle, they're out there to traitor hunt, they're out there to game, these are the seasons for you.
Okay. Now, I don't rank these two seasons at the same level, but low key, I don't know what they do up in New Zealand, but New Zealand, both seasons, the faithful are amazing. Both seasons.
Pooya, how are we so in sync? Because I would have said exactly the same thing. New Zealand won, bit boring, feels a little low budget. And don't get me wrong, New Zealand season 2 feels low budget compared to the others, just because New Zealand is literally on a budget. New Zealand season 2, I think, is my favorite season of all time.
It's in my top 5. It's in my top 5 as well. Very strong season, very fun season, great characters. Definitely a group that understood the game and knew how to be coming in, both from an entertainment standpoint and from like what role they have, what position they have, how can they navigate that. Obviously, every cast is going to have some people that have no idea what's going on. So this season has some of those as well in 2, but 2 provided in so many different elements that you have to put in your conversation for one of the best seasons of the franchise, which then makes it even more sad to the idea that we're not going to get a season 3 anytime soon.
I know, it's heartbreaking. Give us more money for the arts down here. The Pacific Rim of Fire are hands down my favorite alliance that we've ever had out of the Traitors. They're super iconic. Now, I lied, though, before, because I said this was my favorite season of all time. It's my favorite English-speaking season of all time, but I've got another special mention here, because my actual favorite season, and without a shadow of a doubt, best faithful to ever do it on this season. Shout out to Hungry season 1. If you're up for some subtitles, you've got to add Hungry season 1 to your list.
I feel like you can't tell us it's now your favorite season and then, not have us want to go digging for it. Because I definitely feel like it's well on my radar now.
Yeah, you're missing out. You need to watch this season. If you're going to dive into the subtitles, that's where I would start.
There we go. There's special mention provided. Now give us another one of the English-speaking ones that you want to put into this category as well. After New Zealand.
I have one other one here, and we've mentioned it already, and I know you're not going to be happy about it. I'm going to put in US season 2, because even though we all hated Peter's party pals, they live rent-free in my head a year later, and they were good, Pooya. You don't like them, but they were good.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. But if you would like to find out why Annabelle is saying this, check out some of the podcasts as you're watching along to see what some of my reactions, because I do think this season, the US was coming out of season 1, which did not have the strongest of faithfuls in my book. So the bar was very much in hell. But I do think that this season they showed up and showed out. And actually, this is very tough without giving away much. I will say, despite what Annabelle said about how I've reacted to them, there's a moment that's pretty goddamn badass. So check it out.
Yeah.
I'm willing to put it in here. I'm fine with that. I'm just quickly trying to go through my Rolodex to see if any other season gets involved here. No, we're good.
No.
We're good.
Let's do our last category before we do our if you only watch 5 seasons, watch these. Okay. So the last one is for the lore. So if you want to be able to speak the language of the traitors and know what everybody's talking about, these are the seasons that you need to watch.
Yes. So I feel like, we can go through some of them quickly. UK1, I think you just absolutely put it in here for the lore. Annabelle season, Australia season 2, you got to put it in here for the lore. I have a season we've not talked about yet, but just for some of the memes we got out of this season, it has to be in contention, and that's UK3.
Yes.
Yeah. Some iconic missions, some iconic memes, and some very, very memorable moments, some game-changing things going on. That's worth. I think UK2 is another one as well for the lore. And UK1, all of UK, put it in the history books. It's all in the lore, all of it.
You've got to do that. I think that US3 could probably sit here as well.
I was going to say that next. Yes.
Yeah, but we've not mentioned UK3 a lot, because even though I'd say it's better than a lot of international seasons, it's the worst of the 3 UK seasons.
Yes.
The traitors aren't that impressive. The faithful aren't that impressive. It's not as dramatic as the other 2, but it's still worth a watch. And you're right, the memes that have come out of it, huge.
Yeah, the players, maybe not impressive in the roles they're given, but some of the most iconic casting choices, potentially in UK3 to look out for. So that I do recommend for that reason. Is there any other ones that I'm missing from the lore category here?
No, I think UK1 so that you can understand what it means to leave a parting gift. Australia 2 so that you can trauma bond with the rest of the fans. And the rest so that you understand the TikToks.
Yep, that's I think that's perfect. Okay, so now you mentioned a top 5. Let's look at them. Let's consider them. If you have no time but just this, these are the 5 we personally recommend you check out. What is your rubric for this 5? Is it just your 5 favorites, or are you trying to provide a healthy, balanced diet here? What do you think?
I think I want them all to be really good. If you're going to watch these, you're going to come away and say, I'm a Traitors fan. But I also think that I don't want them to all be the same flavor. So whereas I would choose 5 seasons that are all very high drama, let's make sure there is a bit of vegetables in there too.
Exactly. You got to get a balanced diet. That's what matters the most. Okay. So first season I recommend. I said this already at the beginning of the pod. I say it here again. UK season 1 is a great landing spot for you to kick things off. It has a lot of everything you're looking for. I think honestly, it might be the most balanced season as far as giving you good drama, giving you good traitor, good faithful. You have a little bit of everything to look at. I take back the faithful part a little bit, but some of them can be good. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I agree. This is in the 5. This was number 2 for me. I think that if you're going to start anywhere and you're only committing to watching 1 season, watch UK2.
UK2 as well, or UK season 2?
UK season 2. Start with UK
Yes.
season 2. That'll get you hooked, and then you can go to UK season 1.
Okay. I mean, UK season 2 is my favorite season, so I cannot say that I don't disagree with this take. I think UK season 2 provides a lot of things to be happy about, and part of it comes with the fact that, again, the formula there is perfected. I think there's something to be said about meeting a brand new cast and then instantly finding legends. I think a lot of these non-US Trader seasons have that for me, where you become a standout to me and my friends, and I think that is worth discovering for yourselves.
Absolutely. All right. So I think we're aligned on the first 2. Where do we go for number 3?
Okay, so I have two season 2s of 2 different franchises that I'm looking at. I think we might have the exact same 2 that we might be considering. One of them is in New Zealand. The other one is in Canada. Now, which one we go, which direction, we're on the same page again. Love that.
Yeah, I think at this point you're willing to watch something that's not necessarily in high definition, but you're really ready to watch how the faithful should be doing it. You're going to watch New Zealand too.
Yeah, which this is a fun one, because if you are someone who's in North America, every other season that we could have recommended is available on Peacock. The 2 franchises that are not on Peacock are Canada and New Zealand, from my recollection. So these are a little bit of you got to maybe work for them, but they got to be worth it if we're putting them in our top 5 for you. Let me tell you that much.
But for those of you who are listening from the UK, New Zealand 2 dropped on the BBC last week. So it's time to get on board.
Yeah, I'm just trying to quickly check and see if I am wrong. Okay, so the first season of New Zealand is on Peacock, but not season 2. For a while, though, season 2 was on their official YouTube page, available to watch in the US. And then I think they removed that as well. So unlucky.
Well, join the patrons, because then you can watch whatever you want to your heart's desire.
Hey, if you are looking for something, you're determined, you will find it. That's what I always say. But yeah, so that rounds out 4. That means we have one more slot left to explore here, Annabelle. What is that for you?
Oh, this is really hard for me, because I'm choosing now between 3, and I feel like it really depends on, do you want to feel included? Are you a strategy nerd?
Okay.
Are you willing to watch something really special, but it's going to involve subtitles? So it's between 3 for me.
I love that, because that's kind of like a choose your own adventure you're giving them. You're saying, if what this sentence is what makes you feel like, yeah, that's me, go this direction. Give them the 3. Give them the 3 endings. I like that.
All right. If you're a major strategy nerd and you don't mind if it's low drama and at times a little dry, Australia season 1. If you want to feel included in all the drama, then you've got to go Australia season 2. Just make sure you're feeling emotionally strong. And if you want a truly exceptional experience, but it is going to involve subtitles, Hungary season 1, absolutely.
I love all of those recommendations. Again, Hungary, I'm going off your word, but I trust you, so that works. I have a different ending that I would look at, and this is specifically the reason why. Looking at this list, obviously for me, a lot of my favorite seasons come from the international franchises. If you are watching this and one of the main reasons was Rob Cesternino's on, I want to get involved, watch US 3. I think US 3 is the best US season we have to date, and it was very fun. And I have to imagine, as the show matures, more likely going to see more formulas to the last season than you are the older ones that are going to be involved in the formatting of the show. So US 3 can give you a better idea of that. And because of the whole celebrity of it all with the US, you're going to get a better idea of what to anticipate for Rob come January. So that's my recommendation there.
No, I think that's great. If you're here for the Rob of it all, you definitely want to know what baby boy's going through right now. He's getting screamed at by a drag queen, okay?
And we're here for it. We're going to be very excited to see that play out. Annabelle, this was fun. I think there's a couple of other ways we can break this down and format it in the future. Maybe a more spoiler, not insensitive one for some of people who are like, give me more, like they want just a discussion of us talking about it. I think we can go that direction as well.
That would be beautiful. Look, I'm always down. I've said to you before, I'd love to do a strategy deep dive on the Traitors and look at the different strategies we've seen and what we rate and what we don't.
Yeah, we've talked behind the scenes about doing a Traitors podcast where we get some traders involved, and then a faithful podcast where we get the faithfuls involved. And I think that could be a very fun exercise for us. Pull off the right numbers, and I feel like I'm talking to the perfect recruit for both traders and faithful alike. So I'm in the right place.
Always here to hustle.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Annabel,
for having me, Pooya.
Of course. Give them the plugs. Give them the plugs. I know we're short on time here, so we'll wrap it up here. But
yeah,
we'll find you.
See me over at Babes on the Brink. I'm currently covering Traitors Quebec Season 2 that's just wrapped up, and Traitors India Season 1 that is currently airing. So follow us over there for all the drama. What about you, Pooya?
I'm talking a lot of traders over here. I've already got 3 podcasts, I believe, circulating out there. More to come, but you can find everything over on my socials at Pooyaism, or go over to robswebsite.com/traders, TRAITORS. That is where you can find all the traders stuff. You can subscribe to the feed there and join me on this journey into season 4. Y'all take care. Hope you had a good one. Let us know if you've watched all the seasons. Do you agree with us or not? And if you're brand new, please add us when you watch them. I want to live in the memory of you experiencing these shows for the first time. But all right, we're going to head on out. Annabelle has started to leave. I'm going to do the same. Y'all take care. Have a good one. Bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.